Chapter 78, Setbacks. Commander, I've been summoned to council, Venrian reported the moment his eyes finished scanning the message on his console. Laura didn't respond. She was buried in work, fingers moving across displays with mechanical precision. When the words finally landed, she shook her head and looked up at him sharply. No. Venrian hesitated and then straightened. Apologies, ma'am. It's urgent. Directly from High Council chambers. No, Mora repeated, her glare hardening. You're needed here. We're in the opening phases of the fastest incursion in Shaper history. What could possibly be more important than that? Venrian only shrugged, helpless. Mora pulled the message onto her own console and scrolled. Confusion gave way to a slow, simmering scowl as she read. When her eyes finally stopped moving, she exhaled through her nose. Go, she said flatly. Return as quickly as you can. Yes, ma'am. Venrian saluted and left without another word. Mora turned back to her work. There was more than enough to occupy her for months, and only a fraction of that time to complete it. Losing Venrian, her second, her anchor, felt unforgivable. Worse, it wasn't something she could argue. Complaining or appearing before the council herself would only cost her more time. Still, the absence gnawed at her. She found herself rereading reports, catching small errors, correcting mistakes she wouldn't normally make. Her irritation grew until a private message flared on her display. She opened it. Mora, send Selfish to Sanctuary Command. There has been an event in Well 7. She is being brought on board under my supervision, Venrian. Mora clenched her jaw hard enough to make it ache. She closed the message and looked across the bridge to the young woman who had been pulled into the deepest currents of the Shaper power structure. Faster than was reasonable, faster than was safe, Mora had helped build the Shapers from doctrine and blood. She had written the principles they now lived by. Even she had been denied secrets for decades as the group outgrew any single person's control. Now, there were so many secrets and backroom dealings she could barely track half of them. And Selfish walked through doors Mora had battered down with her own hands. Selfish, Mora called, her voice controlled but carrying unmistakable authority. Report to Sanctuary Command immediately. Selfish looked up, startled. Her mouth fell open. Her mind raced through every possible misstep, every imagined failure. She found none. She wondered if she was about to be reprimanded for something she didn't even know she had done. Acolyte Selfish, Mora repeated sharper. Now. Yes, Commander. Selfish nodded, words tripping over themselves. Her body moved slower than her thoughts, as though she were wading through something thick and resistant. Be quick, Mora called after her. I need you back here as soon as possible. She paused and then added, and bring Venrian with you when you return. Selfish disappeared through the hatch. Mora drew a long breath and surveyed the bridge. Too many eyes were on her, on the door. She rolled her shoulders once and snapped. Back to work. Then she turned back to her console and led by example, burying herself in numbers, projections, and plans that no longer felt quite as solid as they had an hour ago.